because, well, my last video I was talking about my thoughts about the fur industry. I think that if you want to wear fur, I would strongly suggest buying vintage furs or pre-loved furs instead. I don't support new fur, and the reason being is that I think that what's going on right now, especially if you buy something like mink because they farm it, I have some concerns about how the animals are raised, how the animals are slaughtered. If it is a wild animal, let's say something like coyote, and that is considered a pest, I don't have any problem wearing coyote fur. Personally, I don't. Nutria, which is an invasive rodent that is eating up Louisiana swamplands or marshlands, they're eating up the roots of all these plants, and as a result of that, it's leading to erosion. I have no problem wearing that either. I think that if the government is doing, or if the state of Louisiana has this $5 bounty on the nutria, people are killing them anyway. There is no problem using the pelts from these animals to make a fur item. I see it as a way to reduce waste. 98% of nutria, from what I was reading, goes to waste because there's not a big market for their fur, which is kind of strange because I heard back in the like 1950s, 1970s, there used to be a lot of nutria coats. So when I saw this video, I wanted to share it with you guys. This is in New York, and I had to fast forward it because of YouTube reasons. But I wanted you guys to see this, and I wanted to hear your thoughts about this, and I'll share my thoughts as well. So this person is confronting a couple. There's also a person who's wearing leather as well. The person who's confronting them is obviously an animal rights activist, and the person who's wearing the coats said that the coat that he was wearing is vintage.
Do you have any idea what these animals go through before ending up on your back? Huh? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what these poor
Wait, hold up. Nope, not playback speed. Hold up, one moment. Here we go.
animals went through? That animal was caught in a leg hold trap and then shot in the head, strangled to death. Strangled to death, he turned into a fur coat. Yeah, you don't care about animals, right? You don't care about animals that were tortured? Yeah, go to them. I'll fucking walk with you to them. You think you can wear fur and expect people not to confront you about it? We're not killing animals, are we? 30 animals were killed for that. And about 10 coyotes were tortured and murdered. You should care. We care. And I'm not going to allow someone, I don't give a fuck. At least I'm not killing animals, right? You walk out of your house wearing the skins of 10 coyotes and you expect people not to confront you about it? I'm going to fucking confront you about it. You should be confronted. I'm not a miserable person. You're wearing real fur. What does that say about your character? You support animal abuse? How would you feel if that was your pet that was caught in a leg hold trap and strangled to death or shot in the head? Yeah, you don't care because it's not you. Why do you think you're so important? Why should an animal suffer and die for you? The thing is that you're not going to change his mind. He's not going to change your mind. You need to be confronted.
So someone is intercepting in and saying, trying to tell the guy who is harassing these two fur wearers, you know, we hear what you're saying. You're not going to change his mind. And also keep in mind, this is code. You can see the other people around. They're all bundled up. I guarantee you, we have leather wearers in the background. We also have down feather people in the background. The only reason why these two people are targeted is because they are wearing fur. If you are familiar with leather, fur minus the hair, the fluffy stuff, is leather. Just want to put it out there in case you guys didn't know what the difference between fur and leather is.
Why do you think you're so special? Confronted him. I need to die. You need to fucking die. Because all you're doing is supporting animal abuse. Actually, you don't better this planet. You have confronted the guy already. Everyone is looking at you. Relax. Chill. Why do you think you're so special? Why should an animal suffer and die for you? You think you're so damn special? You think you're better than everybody?
He didn't say anything, right?
You want people to think that you're special. You want people to think that you're important. You're not important. You're going to be publicly shamed. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself, and you should too. You're wearing dead animals. Why don't you be a normal human being and wear fabric instead of someone else's skin? You're a fucking psychopath. And you probably have sex with those dead animals, you fucking weirdo. You're a fucking freak. You are too. You know that rabbits will scream when they're being killed, right? Animals will scream when they're being killed. How would you like that, huh? How would you like that? No, you're not a human being. You're a heartless person. No human being would ever wear real fur in 2017. Shame on you. You make me fucking sick. You make me embarrassed to be human. You're a fucking disgrace. You're a disgrace. And you're fucking ridiculous.
Hold up a second. So That guy said you're a disgrace. You're not a human. Let me slow that down so you guys can hear it. Let me go back. And by the way, in case you want to see the video is in my description. So let's go back here.
You're a disgrace, and you look fucking ridiculous. You look fucking stupid.
So they said you're a disgrace.
You're a fucking.
They also said something along the lines of, you're not a human being. Now, if you guys are familiar with how people stayed warm back in the day, back before we had synthetics, back before we had Primaloft, back before we had petroleum-based products, people wore fur. People still wear fur, depending on where they are in the world. Alaskans, Inuits, Native Americans, nobody, that is pretty widely recognized. People have been uh, tanning leather for many, 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 many years, centuries. I think people have been wearing fur for millions of years. Now, when I saw this video, this is why it really saddened me. So you see this couple who is just, minding their own business. You see a person who is wearing leather over here. I understand someone might get mad about a person wearing fur, but there's a reason why people wear fur. People wear fur because they're cold. It's wintertime. I don't think that everybody who wears fur wears it as a status symbol. And I say that as someone who has a down jacket. You can't tell it is a down jacket based on the outside. If you look at some of these people here, let me show them. See this woman? I'm pretty sure some of these women have a down jacket over here. This is stuff that keeps people warm. When you are cold, you want to stay warm. And I can tell you from personal experience, fur is very warm. It's very comforting. And it's hard to find something that is as warm as fur. I know Canada Goose jackets get a lot of crap. People say, oh, they have coyote fur at the trim, or because they're insulated with down. It's terrible. But when you are in a really, really cold situation, you want to stay as warm as possible. This person had even said, why don't you just wear fabric? Okay, I have synthetic winter jackets. They do not measure up compared to actual down feathers or fur at all. It doesn't have that insulating warmth to it. So if you look at this one person, where was she? Over here? Where was she? You guys saw her. She was like around here. Here we go. See, she said, I rather look like this than look like you. Okay, I'm 95% sure these people are way warmer than this woman. If you look at what she's wearing, it looks like I guess this is fabric. I guess this is fabric and cotton. Maybe she doesn't wear wool. Some people are against wool. My personal thoughts is that you need to shear a sheep. If you do not shear sheep, then they can overheat. They can have joint issues. You really do need to shear a sheep. Shear sheep. For wool. You can that you have to do that kind of stuff. Sheep have been bred so that they produce a lot of wool, and you can look on the internet and you can see this one sheep. I think it went away for 5 years, and it had a huge, massive amount of wool attached to it, because it wasn't there for a number of years. So if you do not shear a sheep, it's detrimental to the sheep. Anyway. So once you have people yelling about this kind of stuff, and then you got this other woman going in there,
We're not killing animals, are we?
it turns into like a moral, or an what is perceived to be a moral superiority. And I actually feel really bad for these fur wearers, because it seems like they were just minding their own business. They bought the vintage furs, and
Animals were killed.
and they get this harassment. I wonder how that person who's screaming would have interacted if he looked closely at all the leather wearers, the people wearing leather shoes, leather belts, having leather briefcases. Yeah, it seems like this person gets easily triggered. And my personal experience from you guys is this. So I have a fur coat. I've said this in my previous stream. I have a vintage fur coat and I bought it last year when it was really cold in New York. I walked over to a consignment shop. I saw this rack of fur coats. And in Hawaii, I never needed a fur coat. But that last winter, which was my first winter, I was so freaking cold that when I saw this rack, I thought, oh, okay, let me check it out. Now I was kind of surprised because nobody was near this fur rack at all. It was a vintage store. Everybody was around the other sections, but it seemed like the fur coat rack was like taboo, absolutely taboo. I got to feel all sorts of different furs and some of these jackets when some of these coats like I felt them. I was so surprised how heavy they were. They were really heavy. You look at the label, this thing is like over 20, 30 years old. Just looking at it. And I was so shocked to see how well preserved a lot of these fur coats were. Based on their age, a lot of people would have thrown those kind of things away, but these coats just they were made durably. And yeah, so when I saw a lot of these coats, I thought, wow, this is some freaking workmanship right here. And I could feel how thick it was. It was warm. Ultimately, I checked out the coats and then I saw this one coat that stood out to me. And I felt it. I put it on. It felt like a glove. And when I walked outside of the store, it was like $60, by the way. When I walked outside of the store, I remember thinking like, wow, this is really freaking warm. Like, holy crap, this is really, really warm. So I can tell you from personal experience, if you have a fur coat, the warmth is superior than, let's say, down feathers, because if you have like a full fur coat, I just have mine's going up to my waist. It's not a long one at all. But if you have something like that, it really insulates the coat out. Now what surprised me about this is, so I'm happy because I'm nice and toasty, and then I start hearing comments made to me that, oh, that looks disgusting. You look disgusting. Why are you wearing a fur coat? Don't you know what happens to animals? And I remember saying a comment like, "Are you a meat eater?" And they told me, "Yeah, I'm a meat eater." I said, Do you wear leather?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "So you have no right and no reason to criticize me for wearing a fur coat for an animal that died at least 4 years ago based on the condition of the coat." Okay, I think that this coat was like over, I know it's at least 5 years, but it definitely shows signs of wear. So I can't say exactly how old it is. But it it really I really can't understand how someone can be okay with wearing leather. And then when they look at fur, they think to themselves like that is a disgusting person, because like I said, once you take away the fur, right? Like cows, right? Cows have the calf skin, right? They got those little hairs on it. Once you take away that the fur or the hairs off of it, it becomes leather. So you could wear a cowhide, or I think that's what you call it, cowhide jacket, if you really wanted to. No one, people will be like, "Oh, look at this person. This person is so brutal." But once you take away the hair off a cow and you wear a leather, like nobody really is gonna bat an eye. You see? Like nobody bats an eye to a leather couch. No one bats an eye to a leather shoe. But if I was walking around wearing a cowhide jacket, I'm sure animal rights people would be all up my, all up in my face. So yeah, it just saddens me. I think that people who do wear fur coats are going to be harassed, and I think part of it is that when people see others in fur coats like that. Okay, I'm sure this fur coat wasn't cheap. Maybe I don't know what price they paid. I know some thrift stores have these things quite affordably. Fur has kind of fallen out of fashion with a lot of places. So if you're looking into buying furs, depending on where you are, it might be priced really cheaply. For me, I was kind of surprised that I was able to get something for $60. I think part of it is that nobody really wants to be seen in New York wearing a fur coat. the people that I do see wear fur items, it's very far and few between because it's kind of it makes you kind of like people look down upon that. And I think there's something wrong with that because when you have this disconnect, right? When you have a disconnect with how human beings were kept warm for hundreds of years and thousands of years and millions of years, and you look down upon it, I think it's pretty sad. Because these two people, as I had said, they bought these vintage furs. They said that it was, well, he said it was vintage fur. Her coat, I'm pretty sure it's vintage. And for someone to just kind of say, you know, you're disgusting for wearing something that was made years ago that's keeping you warm, you know, you're not a human being, you don't care about the animals. I think the focus is just too much on what you know PETA and everything else says like that, and there's not enough focus on the person. The person just wants to stay warm. PETA has this thing where they believe that the only people who should be wearing fur is of course the animals or alternatively the homeless people. So when people give away their fur coats and they donate it to PETA, what PETA does is that they have shipped it off to like the Middle East from what I've been reading. They've also give it out to the homeless people because they want to send the message that if you see fur, it's not only for rich people. Poor people can wear it too. And I was thinking to myself, okay, so you think if you give someone a mink coat and they're poor, they're just gonna appreciate it? No, they're gonna sell this stuff. I've seen some of the videos. You can see it on YouTube where they have these like free coat drives, and I'm looking at some of these furs. I'm like, damn, that those look like really expensive fur coats. And when I say expensive, it's like it looks really plush. I'm not very good with my furs, but let's just put it this way. These look like they're either fox or they're mink or they're some sort of like expensive looking fur. It's not just raccoon or something like that. And if PETA believes that the way to make one of the ways that you can dissuade people from wanting fur coats is giving it to the poor people. I don't really. I think if anything, that's just going to reiterate, like, yeah, when you're cold, hey, the fur coat really freaking works. So, I don't see anything wrong if you wear a fur coat, but I do have some serious concerns with how animals are being raised and how animals are being dispatched. Some of these, like mink fur farms, I definitely don't support that. I personally would not buy any fur item unless A, it was absolutely necessary for me to buy it, like if I was really freaking cold, or B, I'm buying it pre-owned. I have zero desire to buy any like sable or chinchilla or mink. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't think I mean I see beautiful coats, but I don't think the appeal of having a fur coat is really a status symbol for me. It's just like I just want to stay freaking warm. Yeah, so silver user said made out of 100. Yeah, a lot of the faux fur stuff from my experience, I don't know how they are now, but from my experience, like faux fur stuff, when you wash it, it tends looking like total crap. If you have a fur coat, you're supposed to get it repaired or washed by a furrier. There's actually special places you're supposed to take care of it. And then also they have like large storage rooms. They're supposed to keep it at like a certain humidity or like not at a certain humidity that it can cause it to degrade. You're supposed to let the fur breathe as well. And yeah, if any of you guys are curious and you really are you get cold easily, I would say go to a vintage store. I do not recommend buying new here. I have I have concerns about how animals are dispatched when it comes to like luxury furs, like, you know, sable foxes or minks or chinchillas, that kind of stuff. Like, I don't support that. But if it's something like coyote, where it's pretty well recognized that this coyotes kill a lot of farm animals, or nutria, right? If I saw a nutria coat for sale, and I knew that, hey, this was a nutria killed because it was damaging the Louisiana swamplands, I would not hesitate buying a nutria fur coat, because I would see it as a way to support the protection of the environment. Nutrias are environmental pests. They were actually bred. I mean, they were actually released, and they were actually bred. My bad. They were bred, and they were being farmed for their fur. And then a few got away. They ended up in the Louisiana swamplands. They start eating the roots of the vegetation, leading to erosion. And it's such a serious thing, like I mentioned, that there is a bounty, a $5 bounty for people whenever they kill this stuff. And a lot of these nutria carcasses are just going to waste. So if you want to be eco-friendly, I really, really hope that one day there's a boom on nutria furs, you know, instead of having Canada goose and the recycled coyote furs, or the vintage coyote furs that they're planning to do in 2022. Use nutria fur, 100%. Like, if I saw some gloves with nutria fur, I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna get that. You know, I want to support saving the environment in Louisiana, and start with that. There's if it's helpful for the environment to get rid of a pest, and you're supporting small businesses, supporting, you know, hunters in that way, hey, I don't see anything wrong with it. If hunters are able to make more money by getting rid of environmental pests, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it at all. So, yeah, if you want to check out fur coats, like I said, I would not recommend buying it new. I know some people, they buy stuff from China, like brand new coats from China. I personally would not do that. I don't feel comfortable with how animals are raised in China, or how they're slaughtered in China. This is why I have zero intention of buying any animal fur product from China, because it's like, I see some of the video, I think it's horrendous. But if it's a coyote that was shot in, let's say, somewhere in the United States by a farmer protecting his livestock, I have no problem with that at all. Yeah, so Saitara, that is my concern with new coats as well. If it's like I said, if it's like something like mink or chinchilla, you know, these animals are not considered pests. These animals are really just raised for their fur. And I wouldn't want to signal to people like, yeah, like, look at me, I have my chinchilla fur, and obviously, like, I bought that from, you know, if I bought that new, like, that came from a farm, and then if anyone wants to replicate it, they would buy it probably brand new. But I haven't seen anybody on the street in a chinchilla fur. I know I've seen some people in Manhattan wearing fur. I just can't identify the fur for the life of me. But it genuinely surprised me yesterday when I was volunteering. I saw this woman with a Canada Goose hoodie, and she had the big coyote fur trim, and I was just like flabbergasted, because I thought, wow, holy crap, you know, that is a big poofy thing. She might get targeted for one of these like animal rights activists over here. No, I don't believe that the stories about coyotes are lies. I think that it's very well documented. If you go on YouTube and you type in like coyotes and farmers, you can see footage of farmers killing coyotes, not because they have great pleasure in doing it, but because these coyotes will kill their livestock. Coyotes have this prey instinct with them, and it's very, very strong predator instinct, where they will kill chickens, they will kill dogs, they will kill cats. They've been known to kill cats, you know, pick up, you know, try to kill them for food, or just pure fun. Yeah, so I don't think coyotes are friends. I think that coyotes are very dangerous creatures. The problem with the synthetic material is this: every time you wash it, it will release microplastics. So that nice material, it breaks off, and when it breaks off, it goes into the waterways, and we already have too much freaking microplastics in the ocean. So for me, I like to reduce that. I don't want to have a coat filled with microplastics, and then if it gets matted, because I have owned faux acrylics, faux faux fur stuff, and when it looks matted, it's like you just got to throw it away. And this stuff doesn't biodegrade. Like faux fur does not degrade at all. It might take like 100, 200 years to degrade. So all the people who are wearing those like fast fashion, those like white, fluffy synthetics, or the yellows, or the polka dots, or you know what I'm talking about? Like you see them all over the place. They're just gonna get bored of it, and then when they get bored of it, they're just gonna trash it, or put it in the or throw it in the trash, or if they donate it eventually, right? Things are not going to have homes forever. It's going to end up in the landfill. And when it ends up in the landfill, that's just contributing to landfill waste. And until it hits the landfill, it's going to end up as shedding microplastics in the environment. When you have something like a fur coat, you can put this in a compost bin. Within a few months, it will degrade because it's made out of a natural material. So my thing is that I rather have something that is vintage, something that is older, and I don't, I have like one long winter coat. I have two down ones, both that I got pre-owned, and then I have one fur coat which I have pre-owned as well. It's like that's basically all the coats that I need. I don't really need extra coats. And I really do believe in taking care of it. So when you have like a piece like this, I guarantee you, you will take care of this freaking piece, because not only are you going to see, hey, this is a piece that keeps me incredibly warm. You're going to know how much you spent on it. You're also going to acknowledge that this is an animal fur. So really, really baby it, really cherish it. For me, like my fur coat that I have, I don't feel comfortable wearing it out because I have this concern, and I know this is terrible for me to say it, but this is because we live in New York. I have a concern that if I walk out on the street and I end up with one of these like animal rights activists going up in my face, like that is a safety hazard for me. If you guys are not in New York, if you guys are in an environment where you feel more comfortable wearing a fur coat, then you know that's a great thing. But in New York, tensions can run high. A lot of these PETA activism stuff happens in New York. The substitutes are synthetic. That's the problem. And some substitutes are made out of petroleum. It's not eco-friendly. You see what I'm saying? Like if you have a real fur coat, this kind of stuff can last you 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years if you take care of it. But if you have an acrylic coat, that thing's not going to last you more than a few years. I've read people say, oh, well, if you buy a fake one, maybe you can hold on to it for a number of years and then give it to your grandchildren. No, that this kind of like acrylic stuff. It's just gonna be shedding. I have a few acrylic faux fur coats inside of the closet. I feel it, and I'm like, yep, this thing is just gonna keep shedding more and more and more stuff over the years, and it doesn't keep me warm. Like the synthetic faux fur stuff, it looks like it's warm, but it's not warm. It's very thin. It's basically like wearing a fabric jacket. How can you make sure that used coats are free? And you got to inspect it. Also, I would highly recommend buying it from a store. If you buy it from a store, it's been there for quite some time. But For me, I got it from a vintage consignment store that was selling a whole bunch of things. I'm sure they would have noticed something. I didn't see anything. I still haven't seen anything. Bed bugs, you just inspect it, and then, but yeah, it's not a big concern if you buy it from a store. Down is a animal product. So if you want to get all animal rights on me, you should also be against down feathers. And I understand. I understand what goes on with the down feather industry. You know, I heard about it. You all hope that the down feathers that are collected are from animals or geese that are harvested for food, and their feathers are a byproduct of that. But some places, like in China, they do very unscrupulous thing and they do live plucking, which I think is horrendous and I think it's horrific. So for me, I try not to buy down stuff, and if I do buy down stuff, I ideally want to buy it. I ideally want to buy it pre-owned, because if I have it pre-owned, then it's not like I'm fueling, or I'm not creating a greater demand for it. I'm just kind of like using what is already out there in the environment, shall I say. So that is my thing. But my down feather stuff, I take a lot of care for it. I really do want to make sure that this stuff lasts me a number of years. And I look at the way I treat my fabric gloves versus my down feather gloves. I baby my down feather gloves. If anything happened to those down feather gloves, I would make sure I would repair it. And I would want it to last for a number of years, because I know that it is feathers inside of it. And it really keeps me warm. The only bad thing about the down feather gloves is, well, it's I have to take them out whenever I go diving. But because they're bulky, they're a little bulky with the fingers, but they're very warm. They definitely beat my fabric gloves for sure. I've tried some synthetic gloves. They just don't compare. They really just don't compare. Oh no, I didn't Google clone farm yet. Yeah, we got to redo the seals on the windows. I don't know where the hell these bugs are coming from. I had this theory today. I was like, maybe the bugs are coming from the drains, and then I poured some boiling water on there, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. It's not like we have a forgotten drain or something. I'm like, geez, these freaking no-see-ums. I've killed like three no-see-ums today. And keep in mind, it's really freaking cold. I think these no-see-ums they're just attracted to this apartment because we have the lights on and it's nice and warm and the windows are a piece of crap. So, yeah. Okay, let me look up clone farms. Let me check this out. So if any of you guys encounter an animal rights person, just let's see, here we go. Oh, wow. So clone farms, wow. So they breed cattle, and they want to make sure that they're the same, so they have the same kind of freaking cattle. What? In 2008, the US FDA approved the sale of food from clones and their offspring. What? Creepy. Yeah, so they want to clone cows that produce bigger, better steaks or massive amounts of milk, or yeah, creepy. But look, out of 2.4 million Angus cattle that was registered in 2001, only 56 of them were clones. So it's not that many of them, because it costs like $15,000 to clone a cow, and then 4,000 to clone a sow, yeah, yeah. So it's not like there's a lot of cloning going on. I mean, I can't imagine a farmer wanting to spend 15,000 a pop, because they're not getting $15,000 for a cow. That's kind of creepy. That's kind of creepy. I understand of it. You know, you hear the same thing about what, GMO? Was it GMO that I'm thinking about? Yeah, no, we haven't been eating clones. This one, let's see. Hold up, one moment. Yeah, it's not very many at all. It's only like 56. Here we go. Look at this. Out of more than 2.4 Angus cattle, only 56 were clones. So there's a very, very, very high chance you haven't been you didn't eat one of those 56. Vegan spam in Hong Kong? So. Well, okay, what is the vegan spam? You want to tell me about it? What is this vegan spam? Okay. Okay, Emily, I gotta look up. Emily's sending me some good links. Thank you, by the way. I gotta look through my own video. By the way, I really do believe that there is going to be a food shortage coming up. You heard about China and they're doing this whole thing about reducing food waste. And they're also importing a lot of rice from India because there's been a rice shortage since I think the Three Gorges Dam. They had some issues with that, and then they're getting their crops eaten by pests as well. So yeah, I think China's trying to stem the. Oh, damn it! Damn it! I need to enter an email. Hold up. Let me enter an email. Give me one. Ice cream lover at mailinator.com. There we go. Okay. Wow. So I'm just reading the article that Emily linked in chat. Yeah, let's see. The company does about 20,000 cattle IVF procedures a year. Wow. Yeah, so if you have a cloned animal and it has superior genetics, you can fatten them, you can get them into slaughter earlier, like a month earlier or so. Okay. Okay. Jeez. Wow. So that was a pretty interesting article. Wow, it's 56 now. It's 1 million plus in 2015. Oh, Oreo's around somewhere. Oreo. Oreo. Let me call that Predator. Oreo. Oh, influencer's coming home. And it's not Oreo. I gotta close my MacBook. So, anyway, you guys. Hey. Yeah, it looks like the influencer finally came home. So I will talk to you guys later. Looks like. Do you see Oreo? Do you see that handsome cat anywhere?
I see Blackberry. I see Clinton.
Where'd Tub Tub go? I call him
Oh,
Tub
that
Tub.
cat's not my responsibility.
What? Where's your little moo cat? The black and white one.
I defended him from Clinton 2 days ago. I did my job.
Well, it looks like Oreo has probably done his stealthy vanishing technique of so. I think he's probably sleeping somewhere unknown. But he's definitely in the apartment. Oreo, come over here. Oreo. Oreo. Still waiting. Okay. Well, anyway.
Oh, there's Oreo.
Oh, see, he's making his way over here.
Next to the food dish.
He's next to the food dish.
He's hungry.
Goodness. Okay, Oreo's next to the food because he's... I fed him already. I feed him already. They want something like 5 cans a day. They do not need that much food. These cats are going to turn into snowballs.
You're not feeding the cat.
I am feeding the cat. Oh.
The cat tells me otherwise.
Nope.
Who do I believe, the cat or you?
Come on here, Oreo. Oreo. Hold up. Influencer's coming over here. Come on.
No, see him.
We'll kill the no see him then.
No, see him.
Do you hear them? Come on. Oreo. Come here. Come here, handsome. He's nuzzling.
I killed a no see him.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna give myself a haircut. I look fucking ridiculous.
Did you smash it?
No, I'm drowning him. He's dead now.
Okay. Okay. Can you... Oreo, come here. I can't grab you.
I gotta give myself a haircut. I look retarded.
Huh? How do you look retarded? You don't look retarded. You look fine.
You think Oreo looks fine?
Yeah.
You can't trust your taste in milk.
Okay, you got helmet hair, but everybody looks terrible with helmet hair. What? Yeah. Lewis does not trust my taste in men. I don't know why. I think I have great taste in men. What?
There are 2 pieces of evidence, and it's very important that you have poor taste in men.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway. Yeah, so... Yeah, looks like you know who has to cut his hair. I cut my hair earlier today. I cut it a little shorter, so my hair is now shoulder length. I just cut it like about 4 inches shorter, so it's not anything drastic or anything. Oreo, where did you go? Yeah, it seems like Oreo's not listening to me. This is probably why he got fired from his influencer job. But I will talk to you guys later. I hope you guys have a good night. I just wanted to share that video with you because when I saw it, I thought to myself, oh, geez, this is the kind of stuff that can happen if you live in New York and you deal with this kind of stuff. And I just think that right now, also, this is not really the time you want to be wearing a fur jacket, at least not in New York, because there's a lot of connotations that if you wear a fur jacket, then you are rolling in money. But you can buy a used fur jacket for relatively cheap. Mine was only $60, and I'm sure the retail value of that when it came out was a lot more expensive. So yeah. I think that if anybody does want to have a fur jacket, definitely buy it pre-owned. Do not buy a new fur jacket or fur coats. I think that there's a lot of concerns about how animals, especially the ones from China, like I will not buy any coat from China. It might be cheaper, but because I do care about animal welfare, I don't want to knowingly buy a fur coat from a country that doesn't have any standards at all. I don't want to get any fur coat that came from a farm directly and then kind of feed off into that that industry. But anything that is pre-owned or pre-loved, I have no problem with it. I have no problem telling people that I got something pre-owned or pre-loved, and I have also no problem encouraging other people to do the same thing. If you have a fur coat, I would recommend, and I'm sure people are doing this already, take care of it, really respect it, really make sure that it lasts for a number of years because those things are something that can last many decades if you take care of it. And that is why you have some fur coats, they're owned by grandmas, and then it goes down to the grandchildren because they're just really, really sturdy pieces. And if you want to get rid of it, you can always just throw it in a compost pile and it would be good. You can't say the same thing about synthetic furs. And it saddens me when I see a lot of people rushing to buy synthetic furs, and then when when they get bored of it, they're like, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of it. It was eco-friendly because it didn't kill an animal, but so I can buy more synthetic faux fur jackets. That is not the way to go about things. I don't believe in fast fashion. I think you should invest in quality pieces that will last you a very, very long time. And yeah, it's just not a good thing. Yeah, activists don't care. So what I said in my previous stream was Canada Goose. They're saying that their fur trim starting in 2000. Oreo scratching his cardboard scratching thing. In 2022, they're going to stop using new coyote fur and they're going to use reclaimed fur or vintage furs instead. I don't see that as a good solution at all. I think they can do better than that. And the reason why I say I don't think that's a good solution is if you have people who are against coyote fur for whatever reason, it's not like they're going to change their mind once they hear that it came from reclaimed fur. Um, you also can't do you can I mean you can do that with coyote fur, but you can't do reclaimed down feathers either, right? If you wanted to do reclaimed down feathers, reclaimed coyote fur, that's really, really pushing it. So instead of doing the coyote fur, if people are really want to believe that, the coyotes are warm and cuddly and should always be protective, even though, they are very well documented as killing dogs, cats, livestock, very senselessly and ruthlessly, then go with something like Nutria instead. And yeah, that would be. I think that's the way that they could change the fur industry for the better. I would like to see a shift away from farmed animals. I would like to see a shift away from farmed mink and farmed chinchilla. I would like to see people. I would like to see companies using invasive or what's considered to be pests and eradicate them that way, and then have people use fur coats and have it be a sign of, hey, I'm trying to help the environment directly, I'm wearing a pest, and if this pest wasn't killed, they could have done some serious damage to the environment. So I know I'm repeating myself, but I really, really hope Nutria, there's more products out there, and you can look it up. I think they call it like righteous furs or something like that. I can't remember the name, but yeah, I couldn't really find that many Nutria products online. I heard that a lot of fashion designers, they're just saying, "Oh, we're not going to be using any fur." I don't. I mean, like, okay, when it comes to fashion designers, like they can go without using fur, but if you do use a fur, please do not use full fur. Just use Nutria. Use something else as a replacement. I don't think adding more synthetic stuff to the environment is the right answer, especially because, as you guys know, synthetic fur, it has this like thin plastic thing that flakes off. It's just I just hate thinking about that kind of stuff. So no, I haven't heard. But yeah, I and also if you are an animal rights person and you think to yourself, okay, I'm gonna buy synthetic fur instead, right? Let me just buy the most realistic synthetic fur I can find. That is not the solution. I'll tell you why. Because when I walk down the street, if I see something that looks remarkably like fur, I'm just gonna assume it's fur. Just like when I see leather, I know there's some vegan leathers out there. There's some pineapple made leather. If it looks like leather and people are just taking a quick glance at it, they're not going to automatically assume it's any vegan or vegetable leather or something like that. So if you have a really good faux fur thing, unless people actually talk to you about your coat, which most people will not do, it might encourage someone to think about buying their own fur coat. So I just don't see the reason behind buying synthetic fur unless if you think it's going to dissuade people from buying real fur, it's not. If it's a really good substitute, and they do have really good high end looking uh, faux fur coats. Now, I don't know how long these coats last because I don't know anybody with those synthetic fur coats. I don't have one myself. I don't really hear too much about longevity of these coats. But if someone has, let's say, something that looks like chinchilla fur and it looks really, really, like really gorgeous and looks passable for real fur, if someone saw you down the street, they would assume that it's real fur. They would not think it was fake. And you might inspire someone to go for a real chinchilla fur coat. I know chinchilla fur is expensive, but you get what I'm saying, like sable fox or something like that. No, so Lemon, actually, activists say buy faux fur alternatives. They say they make synthetic furs out there. There's a lot of celebrities who wear synthetic furs. They've said like, yeah, when I wear a coat, I wear a synthetic coat. But when you see a picture of a celebrity, you're not gonna think, oh, okay, that's a synthetic coat. You're gonna say, wow, that's a beautiful fur coat. Like that's a beautiful white, gorgeous fur coat. If you just see them in a magazine, I'm not gonna think, oh, okay, is that synthetic or is that not synthetic? So if you wanna stop this stuff completely, like don't wear fur at all. But my stance is if you want to have something that keeps you warm, there's no question in my mind. Like fur or um, goose down is the most insulating stuff, and yeah, I don't know. So anyway, who knows? Maybe I'll go over. I don't know how co-ops. I don't know how the environment is, but I wouldn't mind going shopping and looking for like a synthetic coat and seeing how that compares. Of course, though, it's kind of hard for me to say how warm it is if I'm indoors, compared to outdoors. If it's like a cold night, I can't really tell how warm a synthetic is. But from what I see for the synthetic, like I said, a lot of the times it looks warm, but it's not. It looks really thick, but it's like, yeah, it's just a bunch of plastic hairs going outward, and the when you feel the backing, it just doesn't have that insulating factor to it. It's all look, shall I say? It's all look, and it's not enough substance. Yeah, so I'm curious. I want to kind of see if there's any animal activism going on in New York. I haven't seen anything, but this also could because we're doing the social distancing stuff. But if there was some animal rights activists, I would actually, like to talk to some of them and actually say, like, look, I understand what you're getting at. I understand how you're passionate about the animals, but what do you really think that having a synthetic is the answer? Is you think that people should be buying more of this petroleum based stuff and just saying like, oh, okay, just don't wear hand-me-down furs, don't wear furs that your grandmother had or you had in the family because it's the animals. Like, yeah, it saddens me when I see people online and they grapple with this conundrum of they have this inherited fur jacket. It belonged to their relative. They have no idea what to do with it because they know if they go outside, people will shun them for it, and they can't. They've been so conditioned to think like fur is bad, fur is bad, fur is bad, fur is murder, fur is bad, fur is bad, that it seems like the fur coat would overshadow anything, right? I've also seen people who have like leather jackets and they say it's like perfect leather jackets. It was from their relative, but they don't want to wear it because it's leather. And my thinking is that hey, if your relative had it and your relative owned it, it's more environmentally friendly to use what's already there, which is the fur coat or the leather jacket instead, than buying a synthetic. You're just if you buy a synthetic, you're not helping the environment. You're using more resources to wear another jacket when you could just wear a jacket that was already made. You get what I'm saying? A down jacket with fur would be not a synthetic fur. Oh well, if yeah, that would be the only synthetic would be on there would be maybe like a polyester coating if you have like down in between if you have like down in between layers. Like if you see some of those puffy jackets that has like polyester or something or nylon, but real fur is not synthetic fur. When I talk about full fur, I'm talking about the stuff like polyester material or like acrylic, plastic, faux fur stuff. No, I haven't made any cookies for Christmas, but I did eat cookies yesterday. Yeah. Ooh, that sounds good. Double rum eggnog with the homemade oatmeal raisin. Oh my gosh. That sounds so good. I want to eat some lemon squares now. That sounds so tasty. Oh my gosh. That sounds really, really good. Yeah, I gotta eat some cookies. I have like a bunch of cookies here, but I haven't I've been trying to watch my cookie intake lately. Yeah, kinda, kinda. Not really though. I've still been eating pastries, so but everything happens in small moderations. So anyway, I know I've said this before and I'll say this again, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. When I was looking through this whole like rabbit hole of like fur discussion, fur conversation, synthetic, I really did like going down this wormhole because it made me think heavily about environmental impacts, and I think that's something that you need to factor in, right? I would like to have an item that is already in existence. I don't want to add to landfill waste, and if I do, I want it to ideally be biodegradable. And for me, I think that would be a fur coat. If you are in the market of a fur coat, depending on where it is, it might be really cheap. It would be really affordable. I've heard about people getting fur coats for a really affordable price, and part of the reason is that it's kind of fallen out of favor, right? You got people have all this stigma about it. They don't want to wear it. Stores don't want to carry it because they're like, oh, all these anti-fur people, anti-fur, we got no one's gonna want to buy this fur coat, but if you are in the market for a fur coat, there is maybe a buying opportunity out there. I'm just saying, like if you want a fur coat that will last you for a long time, I don't think you will have that much driving factors driving the price up. I've heard about some people getting really gorgeous fur coats for like $15, $20 at a thrift store. And part of the reason it's so cheap is, well, it's hard to sell a fur coat when it's getting pushed to you to buy synthetics or buy faux fur instead. And yeah, I've also seen faux fur stuff at thrift stores, by the way. The faux fur I've seen at thrift stores, they look ratty. That's the best way I've seen it. I've seen them at Goodwill. It's kind of strange because I've seen synthetic fur coats at Goodwill, but I have not seen real fur coats at Goodwill. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or what, but the times that I have been in Goodwill, I was like looking for the fur section. I was like, where are the fur coats? Like, where are the fur coats? And I don't know. I don't know what they did with their fur coats, but I just saw synthetic stuff around, and yeah. Ooh. Did I offer Lewis a cookie? He's trying to watch his carb intake right now. He's trying to reduce his carb, reduce his gluten. Real fur coats is usually used by richer individuals. Yeah, that's the connotation of it. Like if you have a fur coat, that must mean you're loaded. If you actually go to a thrift store and you see the price of a fur coat, I think people will realize like the price of a used fur coat is cheaper than a synthetic coat. Some of these synthetic coats, because some of these synthetic coats that I've seen, they are not cheap. They're actually quite pricey. So my thoughts is like if you want something that insulates you and is warm and you see a fur coat, a real fur coat, a genuine fur coat for a cheap price, then go for the genuine fur coat. Just be aware that you might have people like that person in the New York subway, possibly harassing you if you're in New York. But other than that, I don't imagine people being a little too like that outside of New York. You know, New York, there's a lot of heated tempers out there. You got people who definitely like the animal activists are kind of on full swing here. Yeah. What do you think, Oreo? Huh? What do you think, my little handsome? Oh, oh, influencer is coming into the shot. Yeah, but I don't see. I think that some people they like using fur coats as indicators of wealth. I don't view a coat in that way. I think of it as practical purposes. The fur coat that I have no idea what kind of fur it is. I think it's raccoon fur. I think it's fox fur, one of them. I can't be too sure. I'm not a furrier, but it definitely gets the job done, and it fits me surprisingly well. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty great. Come on, Orient. Come on, Orient, come here. Yeah, you get his back. Orient, you want to cuddle? Huh? Orient, come on, come on. Look at that guy. He has fallen. Oreo, something tells me you are not an outdoor cat. He's just like, okay, I will not fight. I will just roll over. Yeah. Oh no, I do have a wooden one. I have a Peugeot or something. Wooden one. I took your advice, you guys. Like some of you guys recommended that I get a pepper mill, and because I was trying to repair the plastic one, I went on I think Mercari and I bought a used pepper mill for like $13, and yeah, it works great. I think those pepper mills are usually like $30 or so, and I got it for 13, and I was like, this is a great thing because I never have to worry about repairing a pepper mill ever again. Ah, perfect sized cat. He is Mr. Tub Tub. Come on, Tub Tub. Come here. Okay, Oreo, this way. Camera's over here, Oreo. Yeah, it should last me for quite some time. I don't know why this camera makes him look like he is a brown cat. He's definitely black. Come on. Yeah, looks like he looks like he doesn't want to be in the camera shot ever since he got fired by Lewis. So I get it, Oreo. I get it. Wants to take it easy on his influencer duties. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later. You guys take care, and let me know what your thoughts about fur coats are in the comment section below. I'm very curious to hear it. You guys obviously don't mind. Um, and I stand by my statement. If you guys do want to buy a fur coat, a new one, do not buy anything from China because I have some serious concerns about how animals are raised in China, how they are slaughtered in China, and I definitely feel like if someone wanted to buy a new fur coat, like do not do not get it from China. Um, yeah, they make fur coats that are cheaper. I've seen people they buy like Canada Goose. Like they make replicas of it in China and then they can buy it from a fraction of the cost. For me, I've never been one of those like brand conscious kind of people. I've always been thinking like, okay, um yeah, I've never been one of those brand conscious kind of people, so I'm not into like the whole Canada Goose bandwagon just because it's Canada Goose. Uh-huh.
Are you streaming?
Yeah, why?
Never mind.
What is it? What is it? Yeah, I've never been one of those Canada Goose people. So, for people who are, they buy replica Canada Goose. It comes from China, and whenever I hear about people having a replica Canada Goose, I'm like, oh frick, I don't know how the animals are being treated in China. I don't know how the geese are being treated in China. Yeah, just I just have some concerns about let's say coyotes being possibly killed in China, or being bred for these replica Canada goose things. And yeah, it's not a good thing. I've also heard in China, like, a lot of people are buying fur coats because they see it as a status symbol. And I hope that if you are buying something as a status symbol, please take care of it, please maintain it, don't just throw it away, because yeah, those coats can last you decades, many decades, if you take care of them right. Yeah. See you guys.